Time magazine has published their most recent magazine with a glowing picture of Kamala Harris on the cover. There is an article in this issue of the magazine about Kamala Harris, which is 99% Democrat propaganda with 1% criticism, written by Charlotte Alter. In the article, Alter writes, "Where has this Kamala Harris been all along? For years, Democratic officials questioned her political chops, pundits mocked her word salads, and her polling suggested limited appeal. Her performance in the 2020 presidential primary was wooden. What I think is so ironic is that ever since Harris became the presumptive Democrat nominee, she has refused to do any interviews, which also includes for Time magazine." Alter writes, "Harris has yet to do a single substantive interview or to explain her policy shifts. Her campaign denied a request for an interview for this story." While this appears to be some minor criticism, Alter doesn't go deeper into criticizing the Harris campaign for their lack of transparency. Alter initially starts the article with minor criticism of Harris, but then goes straight into fangirling over the presumptive Democrat nominee. Alter writes, "Harris's ability to sew up the nomination so quickly was a triumph of work ethic and political dexterity that foreshadowed what was to come." Pete Buttigieg, the transportation secretary, stated about Harris that, "I don't think anybody expected her to be so flawless." It's absolutely disgusting that the word flawless is used to describe Harris. The fact that her campaign is refusing to do interviews and is the least transparent presidential candidate America has ever seen is definitely not flawless. Alter writes, "Yet if Harris was widely underestimated, it's also true that her circumstances have radically changed. Success in politics is situational. Harris no longer has to compete with more than 20 other Democrats for attention on the campaign trail, or contort herself to appease liberal pieties to win over the party's base. She no longer has to be a loyal deputy to the president who calls all of the shots. Now the moment is finally hers." It's absolutely absurd to say that the moment is finally hers, due to the fact that Harris never even earned one American's vote in the primary election. Absolutely nobody voted for her, and instead, the Democrat Party engaged in a coup against Joe Biden and strategically placed Harris as the presumptive Democrat nominee after kicking Biden to the curb. The majority of this article paints Harris as someone that has gone above and beyond for America, when in fact she has done the exact opposite. It lacks substance relating to the real questions that should be asked of Kamala Harris and focuses solely on anecdotes from other politicians and Democrat voters. Plain and simple, the reason for the lack of substance in this article is due to the Harris campaign refusing to do any interviews, including for Time magazine. The Harris campaign knows that if questions start to be answered by Harris, her poll numbers will drop so fast due to her inability to speak and the contradictions in her policies.